sport.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before. So can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Welcome in to Tuesday's episode of Running Point. Today is February 8th, and we already have a comment, and it's just, yes. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell.
Yes.
How Tuesday's going to go, I guess. Yes.
That's how it's going to go.
With two S's. We have a bunch to do today. We have recaps and picks, of course, at the beginning and the end of the show, but we also have interviews with Rick Gates at 12:30. He's Zeta Creaky at 1 o'clock. We will have the bracket breakdown for the boys. We'll start with divisions 1 and 2. All that plus post-game interviews from last night and a lot of fun time.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of things happening around the area, a lot of games that happen that we already know probably is going to shake up a little bit about how the power rankings are going to look for the following week. So it's only going to get a lot wilder.
Some big news out of the MVAC Scarlet here. You were there in Waterloo, and what a game this came down to be. Waterloo gets to win 34-33 because I believe it was Lesnick. I couldn't really tell on the video. Lesnick's right foot just across the three-point line on the game-tying shot at the buzzer.
Yeah, and it was one, too, where if you had the angle, it was all about the angle because, like, Coach Longenecker and all the people behind her didn't know if her foot was behind the line or in front of it.
I don't know where the angle I saw, you could tell her right foot kind of went over.
And that's why I was fortunate enough to see that her foot was over, and I made the call, and I didn't make the 3-point call. I was able to see that it was in, but
that's twice that's happened to a kid on YSN.
That's what I said. I even called back to the Warren Harding chaining game. I was like, that's twice now.
Awesome shot too, that just fall, and then to know that like half your foot was on the line. So it's a pointless shot. It's a heartbreaker.
It was a great game though, and that was one of those low-scoring defensive battles that we see teams like South Range and Poland put up. But that was offense was not a premium, and both girls were leaving it all out on the line defensively.
You know, Kara English is pretty lucky that there wasn't a foul called on that play because Lesnick did what she was supposed to do, which is a pump fake and then kind of go into the defender a little bit, which is what you're trained to do as a jump shooter at the end of the game, try to draw a foul. Can you imagine if the whistle blew and she had to go to the free throw line for an and-one opportunity, and that kind of pressure was on that? You know, you win, you hit the free throw, you go to overtime, you miss it, you lose. That would have been wild.
That would have been a wild finish.
But I like the no call because you watch the tape. English is straight up, and it looked like, at least to my angle, that Lesnick kind of forced the contact a little bit herself. So I like the no call, but I am very it's one of those things where high school refs, you never know if they're going to call that or not.
The officials weren't being ticky-tack, I guess, with the fouls.
What I also heard was there were only 2.
Yeah. And you know what? I give the officials props. And you know what? We don't do this a whole lot, but there were several calls too where one official made a call and I questioned the call myself and I didn't think it was the right call, but they convened, they switched the call too a couple of times where they talked things over. They saw different things. They made sure they got the right call. I think one was a notable jump ball too when a timeout was called. Another one was a change of possession on an out of bounds call. And it was for both teams too. And that's what I like. If both officials doing their best, knowing that they're shorthanded to try to give these girls the best game possible.
That's an MVAC championship game with 2 officials instead of 3. It's tough luck.
It is tough luck, and you know what? I give them props. They did a good job for what they had, and a couple of times they tried to make the right call.
Tough down the stretch because that's a high pressure moment for Springfield and Waterloo. That's a high pressure moment for the referee to make that call. To be like, he was right on he's pointing to the line. He said her foot was over, and that shot was a 2. I mean, he was right on it. He didn't hesitate at all, and that can be hard for referees to make that call at the end of the game too.
Well, yeah,
it's easy to get caught up in the moment and see her jack up a long shot and say, "Oh, that's a 3."
You could be a prisoner of the moment for sure.
Right.
But that was a great. I thought for 2 officials last night, I thought they did a really good job.
So
all things considered,
Waterloo earns at least a share of the MVAC Scarlet tier.
One more
Still mathematically, Springfield is alive, but Waterloo would have to lose out. I believe. I think they'll one win away, and their last 2 are against Sebring and Jackson Milton. So the win against Sebring or Jackson Milton, one of those 2, will give them the MVAC outright.
Actually,
they drop the other.
Well, Sebring, I think, was played.
Oh, it's Middle Ridge.
Middle Ridge.
Middle Ridge.
Right. And don't forget McDonald too is in there.
McDonald's in there too. So they have to
win 1 of 3.
They have to win 1 out of those 3. So Springfield is desperately hoping that some kind of magic happens where Ava Hewlett goes off for Middle Ridge, and then McDonald plays
reserve him Jackson. Jackson like revenge,
which would be miraculous. And
I mean, with the chaos of this basketball season, who would have thought it? But no, just props to Waterloo for this one too, because I mean,
it's great. Like every challenge Waterloo comes up against, they come out on top of. It's a great season for Waterloo so far.
16 in a row, and I mean, you gotta love the story too. I mean, there's 8 girls on there. They basically use 6 in rotation for heavy.
I still wonder how they practice. Like, you can't really run 5-on-5 because you only have 8 people.
8 girls walked into a conference and took it this season. That's incredible. That's a fantastic story.
And a lot of them are coming back because there's one senior.
Yeah, Carrie English, Rose Couts are 2 phenomenal players too.
If it lines up, if South Range wins their first tournament game and it's South Range versus Waterloo,
I would love to see that match. Really
because one, that's going to be an extremely low scoring game because both teams bring the defense intensity. But I was talking to some people last night, and it's like the one thing that I'll say. I mean, like, no one in the MVAC plays high pressure defense from first quarter to fourth quarter. Even Springfield, who presses every now and then. You saw them last night. They kind of go back in a zone too. Like they'll go back in that 2-3 zone. They don't press you. They don't man-to-man ball pressure the whole game. And South Range is going to put ball pressure on you the whole time. And that's something that Waterloo hasn't seen yet. But then you look at Waterloo and you're like, every challenge they faced, it's been boom. We're gonna win. We're gonna win. We're gonna win. We're gonna win. It would be a fun one if that happens to be the case. If the Raiders take care of Grand Valley in the first round of the tournament.
There's always something intriguing about watching those teams with low roster numbers too, but it always gives a chip on their shoulder too. I call back to the Warren JFK baseball team because 11 players walked out onto a field and took a state championship right now. So it can be done. Numbers don't define a team too. The talent on the team defines a team. And Waterloo right now showing, even with minimal roster numbers, just like Jackson Milton too, give them credit this season that they could still have successful year.
We'll talk about it a little bit more later, but Jackson Milton got the win last night over Western Reserve. That's a big revenge win for them.
Big win for them, and that's huge momentum going into the D4 tournament.
So we will hear from Coach Longenecker and Rose Couts. You got the chance to talk with them post-game, and let's hear what they had to say after their MVAC championship win over Springfield.
Welcome back, everyone, as I am now here with Coach Longenecker of the Lady Vikings, winners tonight here over Springfield 34-33, and winners also of the MVAC Scarlet Conference this season of the 21-22 basketball season. And Coach, we talked a little bit about it with Rose. We've talked with you all season. I mean, we know the whole story of it. It's an 8-girls roster too, smaller roster, but that didn't stop you guys. You didn't let that hinder you guys this season either, and neither did the girls. Just talk to me about how proud you must be as a coach of these 8 girls that went in and won a conference title, and that's going to have their year now solidified on those boards.
Yeah, that's hard to put into words because there was a lot of doubt. With the things that transpired and the roster size, and but the kids it took us a little while, but we started to generate some mojo, and the core just really, they've gelled, and they're a group. And tonight I thought you saw that because some other kids hit some buckets, and in a 1-point game that was huge. And so I'm extremely proud of the kids. It's been a journey. And like I said, there was a lot of doubt on a lot of people's part early on, and so I'm just thankful for the belief that this group has shown.
A lot of doubt, but here we are now in the beginning of February 7th to be exact, and you guys are standing on top, conference champions. Going into that halftime, it was a close game, 4-point game to be exact, too. Rose Couts comes out of the second half with a lot more scoring fury after in that first half being a little bit more passive, getting her teammates involved. She mentioned talking with you in that halftime locker room. Just take me through that kind of discussion and what you saw out of that second half that she changed up and did so well.
Well, we thought, and first of all, credit Springfield, because they really played some tenacious defense and, did a great job on Kara and did a great job on Rose as well. And we just felt that Rose was dribbling too much east and west versus north and south, and so we talked about different ways to attack more, and she was able to do that, and it was they responded well right out of the gate in the third quarter.
Offensive points were at a premium, but that's just because of the great play of the defense on both sides. And complimenting Springfield's defense, they did a great job, but you guys in your own right played a great defensive game too. Talk to me about what those talks were like in trying to slow down some of these dynamic Tiger scores. We know Mullins coming in having a great season, but what worked so well defensively for you guys tonight?
The defense has been our staple when the offense hasn't been there. And again, credit Springfield for taking us out of some things that way. But I thought that we did enough of a job on Mullen. She's a great player and is going to get some points. And we did enough of a job at times. And I thought Kara really worked hard, denying her the ball or when she got it, making it difficult. And, Lily Foster, a heck of a matchup. She's probably given up, 8, 9, 10 inches in her matchup. And, the kid just battled her heart out in that. And so, I don't know, I'm just proud of these kids. They play together as a group, and they talk well on defense. And I thought we switched some screens very well in the first half and got some steals out of that on a cut that they were making. And, kids just, I don't know, a lot of times we talk about figuring it out, and sometimes we just have to do that. So
they definitely figured it out tonight, but I got to ask you too, as a coach, I think everyone's heart in this gym stopped for a second with that last shot. Where was your emotion level at when that last shot went up and in, and then you find out maybe a second later, or did you see foot was on the line when it went in?
Okay, number one, I did not see. I wasn't looking at her feet. Ball went in, and I'm thinking, okay, overtime. That was literally went through my mind. And then I saw the official signal too, and I thought, hey, we just won. So again, credit them. And I thought that was a tough shot that she hit there. I thought we had, at least I think we had somebody there, but have to look at it on film. But again, we missed a free throw here and there, made a free throw here and there, and credit Springfield for doing a nice job as well, putting themselves in a chance to tie the game.
Final question for you, Coach, and then we'll get you out of here. With this win, of course, you guys come away conference champions, but of course, all coaches will say there's no meaningless games. So what is the goal now become with these last few games as you guys prepare for tournament time?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because as of right now, we're only sharing this. We still have some work to do. Okay, we have a 3-game lead with 3 to play. So, we're going to be kind of greedy. We don't want to share it. So there's still plenty of incentive for us. And, so we know we'll play a great Milton team on Wednesday, a McDonald team that's playing extremely well right now. And then we go to Mineral Ridge Monday. So 3 road games. And, we've been saying next up all year. So right now it's Milton's next. So
you can catch the Lady Vikings on the road Wednesday, February 9th at Jackson Milton to take on the Lady Blue Jays as Just need one win to get the outright MVAC Scarlet Conference champion. Coach Logan Ecker is a winner tonight with the Waterloo Lady Vikings, number 7 Waterloo Lady Vikings in the Ysn Live Power Rankings over number 9 Springfield, 34-33. Coach Longenecker, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, guys.
Welcome back, everybody, now, as I am here with tonight's player of the game, Rose Couts, who finished on the night with 12 points to help lead her team to a slim 34-33 victory over the Springfield Lady Tigers. And in doing that, you guys win conference champions, or the MVAC Scarlet Tier champions. Speaking on the fact that it's a roster with 8 girls on it, I mean, I'm sure you guys are all very close, but you look on the other side, too, at the roster, and it's a big roster, a lot of big rosters in this. How much more does it mean having this very small group of girls, but that we're able to battle through a very tough conference and still come out on top at the end?
It means a lot, especially to all of us individually. Coming from such a small team, it took a lot of hard work, dedication, practices where we can't do certain things, and just to come through with all of that and finally win the league was really exciting.
Being one of the juniors of this team, I mean, so many girls. Abby Major has 6 points. You have Kara English that had 9. Jewel Lilly coming in with some big buckets. Everyone contributing tonight in this game. I mean, going into this, we knew this was going to be a great battle. We knew conference championship pretty much came down to this one. What were the talks like with Coach L, and was getting that scoring to be more balanced a focal point from it?
We knew we were going to see Kara getting doubled. We knew it was going to be different the second time we played them, and we knew we had to work as a team, and everyone had to contribute to win tonight's game.
In that first half, I noticed you were a little bit more tentative to trying to get the ball out to your other teammates, too, and get them involved. Second half, you got a lot more aggressive, too. Was that something from Coach L, or did you find that yourself, too, where you just came out with that second half aggression and started scoring a lot more?
Coach L told me I needed to get in the paint and finish, so it mainly came from Coach L, but I persevered myself.
Talking about this now, a team that you've been on for the tenure, just your junior year, and you already have a conference title to your name. Just talk to me about what it means to be able to do it with this school and to have this season be up on the wall now forever.
I'm really excited. It means a lot, and I'm just glad I got to do it with my team. Even though we're small, we're a good team.
Final question for you, not really a question, more of it is a shout out. What did it mean to have that huge student section again backing you guys tonight for this one?
It's great.
As that student section was loud and rocking tonight for the Lady Vikings, and so was Rose Couts, 12 points, and a big conference win, 34-33 over Springfield. Thank you so much, Rose.
That was Coach Longenecker. Longenecker. I almost said the wrong way. I'm getting it right.
I think I said it the wrong way once and then immediately said it the right way. I think
when you say it one way so long, it's hard to kind of readjust.
Yeah, it is. But no,
Coach Longenecker and Rose Couts after the game. Waterloo gets the win over Springfield 34-33. Get this, Springfield 3 of 13 from the free throw line. They got to feel like they kind of handed that game away at the line.
That was a thing that I was commenting on too throughout the game, and I was like, if there's one thing Coach Matizzi is, and I think they went into the halftime 1 of 8 into the halftime.
That first half they had to shoot into the student section.
That student section
into the student section was 1 of 8 from the line. Talk about having an impact from the crowd.
Yeah, they did a great job. The student section brought the energy, and they were a factor. But, yeah, I commented on it. And Coach Matizzi of the Lady Tigers, that's got to be the focal point you got to think. I mean, when you go 3 of 13 at the free throw line, that's the game right there. It became a 1-point game. I mean, just hitting a couple more free throws makes a difference in the game. And you got to figure free throw shooting is a focal point in the next practice.
J.C. Mullen had 14 points for the Tigers, 8 rebounds, really close to a double-double. Like Coach L, I think we should rename him to Coach Dub because he's not taking any L's.
No, he's not. He hasn't taken
any
in a while.
He's Coach Dub. They're on a 16-game winning streak. They haven't lost since the first game of the season back to Alliance.
Yeah, and this was a good Springfield team coming in too, and Springfield only 4 losses on the season total now. 2 of those coming to Waterloo. And you know what? The Lady Tigers and J.C. Mullen did a great job still of scoring through high-pressure defense that Waterloo was bringing.
J.C. was 7 of 10 shooting from the floor, so you got to think, why wasn't she shooting more? She's shooting at 70%. She only got 10 shots up. That just
what I saw too that Waterloo did really well, and what Coach Longenecker I think was hinting at when he said they did enough on defense is just cutting the ball away from her. Just don't let her get the ball, force it out of her hands when she does, and don't give her a lot of shot opportunities, because obviously the ones that she takes,
because she was shooting well.
Yeah, the ones that she takes, she nails down 70% shooting. And I mean, she came in averaging, I think, just under 19 and over 10 rebounds. She leads her team in 4 out of the 5 stat categories per game. She's a phenomenal player, and she's got another year left.
A game high 14 for Mullen. Rose Couch had 12 points, 9 rebounds. She was 5 for 12 from the floor. Kara English 9 points, 6 assists, and then Abby Mazer with 6.7 rebounds. So everyone contributing. Like, they're a small team, but they rebound really well.
It was just good. You took the words right out of my mouth, Anthony, because that's one compliment I have to give this.
To make a front guard is really hard to rebound against.
They've gone against teams. St. Thomas Aquinas had girls all over. I told you I ran through that roster of multiple girls 5'10" and 6 foot tall, and I think Waterloo out rebounded them that night. And I mean, it's just physicality, it's positioning, and I mean these are smart girls too. They're smart basketball girls. They know where they need to be to get rebounds, and they all come in with that underdog mentality. But you're absolutely right, and I think they rebound extraordinarily well for being a smaller team.
All right, according to our good friend and someone who does a lot of good work, Jonah Rosenblum.
He does. He was there.
Of the
Record Courier, I think he works for. He does great work.
This is the first Waterloo girls basketball conference title in 15 years.
Yeah, he does a lot of great work with some of those Portage County teams. He does work, I think, like with Garfield and stuff as well too. So you could definitely see some things on
Garfield,
the
and then he does a lot with the Portage County conference. So the Southeast, the one that JFK is now in.
Yeah, so you could get a little bit more information too. Jonah always posts stats and games that he's at. He does great work.
He's great, like fantastic work that he does. We thank him for his hospitality. His you like it when media members are kind of civil towards each other, and he's always great. Always talks up YSN when he gets the chance to. So we're going to talk him up. We're going to return the favor.
He does do great work. I see him at a lot of games too around the area. So he always does a great job. But yeah, 15 years, that's an impressive streak to come to an end, that they finally get a conference title. And this is a tough MVAC conference too, with a lot of good basketball schools.
Another big streak came to an end as Liberty won their first conference championship since the 2010-2011 season. They beat champion 59-51, much closer than last time, but still a Leopard win. And they win the outright MVAC Gray Tier Championship. Our very own Alec Caberna had the chance to talk to Deidre Watson after the game. Let's hear what she had to say in the Leopards' win over champion.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alec Caberna here with Coach Deirdre Watson after winning the first MVAC title in school history and first title for this school in 17 years. Coach, how does that feel?
It feels good to have the monkey off our back. We've been trying to get a title for a while, falling short a couple times. So to check one of those boxes for one of our goals this year was a great accomplishment for us.
And who do you credit that to this season, being able to finally get over that hump of MVAC champions?
Credit goes to the players. The coaches, we can only coach so much as they want to receive us. They really had a different mentality this year. We talked a lot about mental toughness and finishing the game, and they really responded.
Well, you were in a close one tonight, 59-51 win over champion to secure the MVAC. What was the strategy down in those final few minutes as things were tightening up?
Champion's always a tough team. I think they've been my nemesis for the past 4 or 5 years, so I think it was only fitting that we should play them. But we just talked about playing good defense. They have a couple of excellent shooters. So we were just making sure that we were talking on defense, making sure we're picking up on the switches.
Well, Coach, you're finishing things out here in the regular season. You've already secured the #1 seed come postseason. What's the goal now to finish things out?
Well, the goal is the title, the district title. Everybody's going to be gunning for us. It's always what it is. So we have a lot of work to do. We are scouting some film, and we're going to be ready to play.
Well, I think the fans just want to hear one more thing. What do you got for the fans here as you finish out the MVAC title and the 1 seed come playoffs?
Just come support us. Give us all your support, because we're going to give you 100% effort.
All right, thank you very much, Coach. I've been Alec Aberna. Liberty claiming the MVAC grade title.
That was Coach Deidre Watson after Liberty's win over Champion 59-51 to secure their first MVAC championship. Remember that conference has been around for maybe 4 or 5 years.
How about that casual sports guy, Alec, grabbing a post game? We love hearing
Alec doing some work. I think he got a little jealous that he wasn't getting voice time on Running Point. So,
I mean, hey, if Noah Ricks was taking advantage of it, Anthony Romo tries to take advantage of it too. So I mean, we'll give you voice time too. Get those post game interviews with players and coaches. We'll get you voice time on Running Point. I love
Liberty
hearing
team
from
that
you.
continues to just find success through amazing offense and timely defense.
First and foremost, though, I do want to give props to Champion because Champion has been a team that I've kind of been not hating on, but doubting ever since that last loss to Liberty. And I was thinking about this team going into the playoffs, and I was like, I don't know if this team is as good as everyone says they are. And they had that win streak in the beginning, but they've dropped a few and they haven't looked good. And they beat Brookfield twice in a week, and then they come in against Liberty and they don't beat Liberty in Liberty, but they make it an 8-point game, and that's a very good game they played against a tough Liberty squad. So props to Champion, props to Coach Cole. This is a team that looks like they're back into playoff contenders.
They
again.
made up 12 points. They lost by 30 the first time around. They made up 22 points.
That's huge. That's a huge turnaround.
So I think it's all about matchups. I really do. I think Champion matches up with Brookfield really well. I think Brookfield matches up with Liberty really well. And I think Garfield matches up with both Brookfield and Champion really well, but not necessarily matching up with Liberty.
But I mean,
it's crazy.
Garfield is the one that I think is the best competitive against all of them, though.
Right, you're right.
I think Garfield, out of all those teams, out of all 4 teams, I would take Garfield in any of the matchups, though, as ones, because they were close in losses to Liberty, and every game was close with Brookfield and Champion, but they match up pretty well with all 3.
Because in my opinion, I think Garfield's the most dynamic team out of that group, because they can play slow in half court if they need to. They can run the offense through Jenna Smith in the high post, but then if they need to run, they have athletes to run on you too. Like if Liberty wants to push the tempo on them, they can run with Liberty, and they can shoot with Champion, and they can play slow with Brookfield. So I think they can play all these different styles of basketball pretty well.
And those are the top 4 seeds in division.
And, interesting. Brookfield just said, screw taking our own bracket. We're just going to take right into Liberty, and they went right after Liberty. They think they match up really well with the Leopards, and if the chalk plays out, Brookfield Liberty will be the district championship game.
Division that still has South Range in it, has Waterloo in it too. There's a lot of great. I can't wait to see. I hope some of these matchups that I'm thinking of that could happen actually do happen.
One out of town team you can't forget about either, Rootstown. Rootstown is in that league, and Rootstown, very good girls basketball program.
Yeah, there's a lot of solid teams too in this league, and it's going to be interesting. Oh, I can't wait. It's so close, Anthony. It's like right after the Super Bowl, man. We're going right into it.
You have that, and then you have some more recaps last night. Howland, what do you describe the start for Howland? I mean, they came in, they were really, really not happy with losing to Canfield. Like the players after the game were mad because they saw the Canfield score. We'll get to that later, but they knew that Canfield lost that night. They were mad that they didn't wrap up the league. They didn't beat Canfield. They came out with such amazing energy against Poland. They hit 8 threes in the first half and took a 43-23 lead into the locker room.
They were angry. They came in angry, and I mean, looking at it too, and I mean, backtracking on things I was saying too. Hey, maybe I was wrong, and maybe the voters were right, because keeping Canfield at 8 and giving them a chance to prove themselves, except for that one.
It was another game, and it's unfortunately for Canfield. I thought they fixed it on Saturday, but another game where it was close in the fourth quarter with about 2 minutes left, and they just couldn't finish. And Louisville made it a 9-point game.
Admittedly, I think I might have been prisoner of the moment for yesterday too. So I mean, maybe
now we can see how Canfield does against a Poland team that really wants to bounce back and upset about that loss to Howland.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be an interesting game too to wrap up. the season.
Alec Cabrera is going to have that call on Thursday. Kind of jealous.
Yeah. I unfortunately, that one was up in the air for all of us too, and Alec made sure he grabbed it too. And I mean, great game for Alec to have, and I mean, he's going to have a good call for it.
Canfield did lose to Louisville 52-43, but we'll go back to Howland and get post-game interviews from them. I got to talk to Matthew Clues, assistant coach of Howland, because Coach Pounds, his voice was gone. It was a lot of excitement, a lot of screaming, and his voice was gone. So he gave me Coach Clues, and I also got a chance to catch up with player of the game, Kylie McLean, after Howland's 66-52 win over Poland last night. Let's hear what they had to say. Anthony Hartwig here with Coach Clues after Howland's big win over Poland here in the Poland Fieldhouse. What a start for you guys in the first half. You came out shooting on fire. What a mindset. Talk about the team and what you saw tonight.
You know what? Coming into the game, Coach Pounds, we were talking on the bus. It's tough coming into a game without any practice after a tough loss to Canfield. We didn't know where the girls' mindset would be, and I think they wanted to make a statement, and they did in that first quarter. I mean, we were making everything. We were in our spots on defense. I mean, I can't tell you how proud we are of how they came out and played that game. That's a good Poland team, and we controlled that game for most of the game. And, that tells our girls, they got a good shot here moving forward, especially as we get tournament time.
Ball movement and passing was so important against this Poland team that loves to trap and force turnovers. Talk about your team's balance today on offense and how important it really was.
It starts with Kylie up top. McLean, she's our field general. She makes things go. We knew coming in if she was good to go, we had a good shot at kind of controlling the game, and boy, was she good. Just keeping us out of bad spots, keeping us out of the trap points, making the quick reversals. The girls didn't panic. We had a point in the third where we kind of got out of a rhythm, but they got it right back real quick. So every girl was smart with the ball, moved the ball well, found their shots. Again, we can't be more proud of the way the girls played today.
Yeah, you had to know Poland was going to make a little bit of run.
Oh, yeah.
Out of the half, they opened with a 7-0 run. You guys absorbed that, took it, and then evened yourselves out.
I think we came back with another 7-0 run on them. We knew that was going to happen. We tried to tell them coming out. They were so pumped up after how well they played. 43 points and a half against a very good team like Poland is a lot of points. You don't see that very often. That tells you the firepower this girls team can bring when they're on. And coming out, we knew Coach Blanche would have them ready. And they threw their best punches. The girls absorbed it. We had them relax a little bit, but we got the game back in our control. So for a while there, I was like, okay, they're going to bring it. But a couple minutes in, we were like, we got this. These girls got it. They're good.
Coach, how do you use this one as momentum heading forward?
Well, we got Nordonia Wednesday, another D1 team we'll maybe even see in the tournament. Who knows? But we got to take care of that business first. Go play another D1 opponent. Going to have big numbers. Hopefully the girls can make another statement. One thing about this team I've learned is, they don't let down. It doesn't matter who they're playing. They have that mentality of, if you're in our way, we kind of want to embarrass you a little bit. I think they felt the pain of that Canfield loss. And, anybody who's going to play this team better get ready because when they're on, they're a tough team to beat. So hopefully we take care of Nordonia, get to Saturday Madison, and make a good run.
Coach, thanks for the time. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you. Appreciate everything you do.
We will hear from Kylie McLean in a bit, but now we want to go to a live interview. We have, for the first time on Running Point this year, Coach Rick Gates of the Crestview boys basketball team about to join us on the show as soon as I find my cursor. There it is. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. How are you today?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Coach, I mean, we got a chance to talk this past Saturday. A couple more things we found out too, as far as tournament draws and everything. We'll get to that first. But first and foremost, I want to get to the team. We always start off with the Meet the Team segment. So for anyone that hasn't gotten a chance to see the Crestview boys team, I know I got a chance to see them, and there's a few young names on there that there's some things to be excited about in Crestview. So why don't you shout out the names you have on the team this year, Coach?
I sure will. I appreciate that. We do have a kind of a mix of young and old players. Our older players, our three seniors are Matthew Wallet, Anthony Cusick, and Jack Yerke. Anthony's at just about 9 points a game. Jack is at about 8.5 points a game, have been good leaders for us. Jack's also averaging 8 rebounds a game. They've been with me the last 3 years here. Our junior class has a nice turnout, good quality kids. We have Kirkland Miller is leading our team in scoring. He's had a little over 14 points a game, but that's a little deceiving. He played a couple games hurt and knocked his average down. He was averaging about 17.5 a game. Wyatt Miller, cousin of Kirkland, has just been a steady force for us. He's been at about 10 points a game and about 5 rebounds. James Best is our point guard, a junior. He has missed his last 2 seasons with a back injury and bounced back, recovered, leads us on the point. We also have Cade Hancock's a junior who's played quite a bit of varsity time, started a few games. Matthew Lindsay, 6'3" inside player who's come along well, and Tyler Milhorn. We play a freshman quite a bit of varsity. We play Jonathan Best, whose brother is the point guard, James. And those 9 players are just a big part of our group. We do have 4 out of our 5 starters are averaging 8 points or above, which shows that we have some balance. Kind of a goal preseason was to get 5 players in double figures, but we're a little bit off of that, but we're working towards that.
Coach, when you look at the senior leaders that you discussed and you mix them with the young players that you have stepping up this year, put into words how valuable the seniors are going to be this year to the future of this program and building the future and the example they've set for these young kids going forward?
Your upper class leadership is so strong and important for your younger kids, and probably most important every night in practice. You need those senior captains, senior players to step up your practices when things aren't going well. You need them to be the cheerleaders and the confidence builders with those younger players, because those younger players are going to struggle at times. They're going to have nights they throw the ball out of bounds. They're going to have nights they can't shoot. And that's when your older players step in. And we've been fortunate that way where our leadership has really grown, I think, in the last couple seasons here. And we have those type of players right now.
Coach, we know the tournament draw is out and we kind of know the path everyone has, but you guys still have some games on the regular season on the docket with Liberty, Garfield coming up most recently, as well as LeBray. Good competition games, good measuring stick games getting you ready for the tournament. Describe what the plan going forward is and how you guys plan on generating some momentum before the tournament.
Sure. In our league, every night is a dogfight. Every team top to bottom in the gray tier of our conference is just a battle. Tonight we're at home against Garfield. Garfield beat us up at their place. They're so athletic. They have a great football program. They have a great basketball program. This is their first year into the league. Show you how good they were. Most of these kids were juniors last year, and they beat our league winner, Newton Falls, last year in a non-league game. So Garfield tonight. Friday, we have to go up to LeBray. LeBray is loaded with quality athletes. And then Saturday, we have a makeup game with Liberty. Liberty is, they're 12, 13, and 4 right now. Just a good league team that will battle against Saturday. So those 3 games will help get us ready for the tournament. And then we'll wrap up on senior night, Friday the 18th, with a non-league game with Lisbon, kind of, a closer Columbiana County rival game. But those games will try to get us ready for that tournament, which is just loaded with great teams.
I know going through this conference can be a gauntlet, especially with Garfield coming in and Camel getting some kids back to make them as good as they are. But when you get into that tournament and you kind of look back on the experience that this conference has given you, how much do you think it'll help your guys be ready for the level of play that you're going to see in that bracket?
We are just super hopeful that playing that high a competition every night in our league will prepare us for all those teams in the tournament. The tournament's loaded with good teams, but they can't be much better or than those league teams that we go against every night. So we're really hopeful that league schedule will get us ready to play tournament games.
We were happy to get you on, Coach, but we know you're not a stranger to that Crestview community. 17 years first as a boys coach, 8 years as a girls, and then back for 3 more as a boys coach. Just describe the feeling it means to you to have put so many young students through your program and watch them graduate and help them become successful citizens after. I mean, I got to figure the numbers in the hundreds at this point, boys and girls at Crestview.
It honestly is just an awesome feeling. I had the privilege of playing for Crestview. I graduated in 1980. I played basketball here, went on to YSU, and was in the workforce a little while. And then I believe it was 1989, I was still attending YSU and taking some classes, and they had a JV basketball opening that Mick Adams called me up over, and I came as his JV coach for a couple years, and then became the head coach here in my home community. So it's kind of the neatest thing, and at times a challenging thing, but the community here has been so great. The school system here has been so great, administratively, teacher-wise, student-wise, parent-wise. Just an awesome place to teach and coach. And I'm just extremely proud of every boy and girl who has come through these programs. Just so many quality people.
Coach, what we want to do, and we do every time we get a coach on, we want to give you the chance to kind of give a shout out to your staff and your assistants and the people that have helped you build this program to what it is. Because we know the coaches get the interviews, but the assistants do as much work as you, and you wouldn't be where you are without them. So give a shout out to your assistants and the people that work with you on the staff.
I sure will. My varsity assistant is Troy Dewey. Troy played here as I was a head coach here. Phenomenal offensive player. I think he ended up with it's kind of a joke in practice. Troy ended up with 997 points at Crestview. And trust me, we checked those books quite a few times trying to find 3 extra. But he has been with me both prior to coaching the girls, and then he's been with me the last 3 seasons here. Tim Vargo has been with me the last 3 seasons here with the boys program. Tim is our JV coach. Tim does a wonderful job of keeping the kids in line, kind of building the program up and getting the kids' expectations ready to come to that varsity level. We have several young volunteer helpers, so to speak, but they're quality kids that most of them have come through our program. Scott Murray played at Crestview a few years back here. Scott has been a volunteer assistant for me the last couple years here, the last 3. Played at Crestview, battled through some tough years here when I was with the girls program and when I was down as an assistant at Geneva and Beaver Falls there. And Tony Perazio played for me, graduated last season, and right away, just such a great, positive kid to have around our players. I asked him to volunteer this year, and he's at every practice, at every game. He travels with our freshman team. as far as being an assistant coach also. Our freshman coach just graduated last year, Connor Hughes. Connor is just a good student of the game. He is energetic. He's taken that role. He's a YSU student, and he's taken on that role of heading up our freshman team, which is kind of a rarity here. We have not had a freshman team, I believe, in 10, 12 years. And we have 9 boys on the freshman team. I have that 10th boy up with us on the varsity team. So we have some good up-and-coming boys. 8th grade wise, we have Greg Woolman is our 8th grade coach, and we have Scott Hughes, the father of Connor, who is our 7th grade coach and does, our junior high programs are really structured towards developing the players and not the wins and losses. And they do a great job that way.
Just to kind of reiterate on that, what does it mean to you now having a freshman team? For coaches, I got to imagine having that sustainability and having that longevity of knowing you're going to have consistent players and consistent growth in the team. It must be exciting considering Division 3 and 4, sometimes numbers can be an issue.
They really are. Our league is fortunate that every team in our league has a freshman team, but Columbiana County, it is not that way. We were just thrilled to death this year that we were able to build up numbers and keep kids interested in the program and positive. Not having a freshman team and having the mix freshmen in with your JVs just hurts their court time. They are not on the court as much as they should be, where now we were able to get 18 freshman games in, and those kids got a ton of quarters. They got that game experience, that practice experience. That's, I believe, vital. And that was a goal. And when I come back to the boys program here, that the superintendent, Mr. Manley, and I discussed, that we really wanted to get the enthusiasm and the interest back in the basketball program here.
Coach, I know you have done just that. When we go to Crestview games, we can see the interest level spike. Thank you so much for joining us today. We love talking to you, and we wish you luck on the rest of the year.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you, both of you, and good luck covering all these games down the stretch here.
We need it.
Yeah, we do. We look forward to talking to you again soon, Coach.
Thank you. Great talking to you. Thank you.
That was Rick Gates, the head coach of the Crestview Rebel boys basketball team. Catch them in action tonight as they host Garfield.
And that means Crestview, check on both of them. Now we got Coach Blatch for the first interview, and the latest interview for Running Point is Coach Gates. So it's kind of a big Crestview sandwich of coaches that we've had on.
Crestview sandwich, I like that. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go and play back the last post game interview from Howland. Kylie McLean was player of the game last night, finished with a team high 13. Actually shared the lead with Alyssa Pompilia. They both had 13 on the night. Balanced offense for Howland. So we'll talk to her, and then we'll take a break on Running Point and be back with more on this show brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. So McLean's interview, and then a break, and then we'll be back. Anthony Hartwig here with Kylie McLean after Howland's big win over Poland here in the field house. What did it take to get this win? I know it was a tough loss on Saturday. You guys had to bounce back quick. No practice in between. What was the mindset coming into tonight?
We really needed some momentum. It was a hard loss, and we came out real strong. Everyone was hitting their shots. Everyone contributed. It was a great team win.
Despite the loss, you played really well in that Canfield game. Did that kind of give you momentum into tonight? You played well again here tonight, 13 tonight, 19 on Saturday. You're starting to really get in rhythm after that little injury in the middle of the season.
Yeah, I think I got some confidence after that game. Everyone played great tonight. It was a team effort here, but Canfield definitely helped.
How much does your balanced offense take pressure off of you when you can see, I think, 4 players in double figures tonight, and you can trust all your teammates to go do their job?
I think it's a real benefit we have that all 5 girls on the floor are threats to the other team. They have to guard everyone, and then we're threats.
Obviously, it's tough to win here in Poland. Everybody knows it. Their defense is so good. Their offense made a little bit of a run in the third quarter. How were you guys able to calm yourselves down and absorb that punch and then punch right back with a 7-0 running yourselves?
Well, we came in a half. We knew they were going to make a run. We had a big run in the first half, and we just had to calm down and let it come to us. I think once we settled down with the traps, we were able to contain.
Take us through that locker room at halftime. I mean, you scored 43 points in one half. Was there like you had to calm yourselves down a little bit? Was there some excitement in there?
Yeah, they had a 5-point run at the end of the half. We were up 25. They went back down to 20, and we calmed ourselves down a little bit. We knew they were coming for a run. We shot the ball really well in the first half.
You got Nordonia before you go into tournaments. How do you use this one as momentum heading into that one?
We need a big win against Nordonia. Madison's going to come out strong. They beat Nordonia by 17 earlier in the year. We need a statement win there and get some momentum for tournament.
All right, Kelly, thank you so much for the time. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring. And, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need, regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting, where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education, and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University, and proud.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell as he pops in, slides right in right on time as always. We still have some recaps to get a hold of here as we wind down the first hour of Running Point. Let's go over some other final scores in the YSN coverage area from last night, as we have, of course, Fitch getting the 63-53 win over Boardman. We're going to be talking to Zeta Creaky here in a little bit at 1 o'clock to have her highlighted and interviewed on Running Point for the first time live. She's been on a lot for post-game interviews, but for the first time live. 51-48, Garfield gets the win over Brookfield that had the season sweep of the Warriors. Jenna Smith, 1,500 points now in her career. She eclipsed the 1,500 mark.
Yeah, that's an impressive stat too. And I mean, Jenna Smith is absolutely a baller and a dog out there for Garfield, and another great
takeover mode. She can go into really quick takeover mode really fast. Lakeview gets the 53-27 win over Niles on senior night, so they send off their seniors with a great win. United claims the EOAC championship after losing to Columbiana. They win. That doesn't make any sense. They didn't play an EOAC team. 63-45, but someone commented on our graphic that said they won the EOAC. I'd have to double check that because it's obviously not an EOAC game. They played Beaver Local.
Yeah.
63-45. They get the win to bounce back either way off after the loss to Columbiana. 41-29, the South Range Raiders bounce back after their NE8 loss. They beat Jefferson. We have Heartland Christian celebrating senior night with a 46-36 win over Lisbon. That was one that surprised us both.
Yeah, Heartland Christian. Good job for them getting a win on senior night.
Ursuline boys get the win over Salem, 64-43.
Yeah, we both called that one.
We have Poland getting the 10-point win over Gerard, and this is not going my way.
That's me. I took the dogs on the road.
Yeah, you did. I think you won every game that we split.
I'm pretty sure I took the 4-point lead.
You just took the 4-point right back that I got on Saturday.
You got it back you got it to 9, and now it's right back to 13. I'm pretty sure.
I just have to get it back to 9 tonight. We go to Lakeview. The boys, as part of that boys-girls doubleheader, they won 56-29 over Niles, so pretty much the same score as the girls. Very close to the same score. We go to the Howland final score, by the way, 66-52 over Poland. And then, of course, Waterloo gets the 34-33 win over Springfield. Jackson Milton gets the 52-42 win over Western Reserve to bounce back after losing to them earlier in the season.
Yeah, good win for Jackson Milton to get a win back on reserve, and it just makes Division 4 a lot more interesting when the tournament starts.
It really does, and we are going to go from our final score recaps to another live interview. We're going to be popping in Zeta Creaky from Austintown. Fitch, the new 3-point queen. We can officially say we were waiting for a while to be able to officially say it, but now 3s in a season, the record holder there. And the win last night, player of the game from last night as well. Zeta, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you for having me.
Zeta, first and foremost, I mean, it's been swirling around unofficially for a few weeks now that you are holding the record. We finally get confirmation, and it was at 64 and counting. I'm sure there was a couple more added from last night, too, as you were player of the game as well. Just what does it mean to be holding this record for 3s in a season and continuing to grow on it with each and every game that you play?
Well, 3s are what I like to shoot most. I'm always practicing them, always trying to hit as many as I can in a game. And last season, I was only about 10 away from breaking the record. So I knew this season that I could just try and get to that and hopefully beat or break it. And last season, breaking the record for most threes in a game really helped me have that confidence and motivation to get to this.
You know, Zeta, this team comes into this season so improved from last year, and we see so much growth from the upperclassmen all the way to the lowerclassmen that have come in and been new faces to this team. Talk about what it's been like seeing the growth of everyone around and seeing this team accomplish things that, you know, a lot of people outside of the program probably thought that you wouldn't accomplish.
We have a really young team this year. We only have one senior. There's a bunch of juniors, a bunch of sophomores, a bunch of freshmen, and we have a lot of freshmen playing up on varsity, and they're very inexperienced, and they're starting to learn the game and learn how to play up, and just we're all coming together more. None of us have really played together much since we're all in different grades. We have a new team every year playing together. And just the chemistry that's being built up it's accomplishing a lot more than we thought. And going into next year too, having the same girls, it's going to make it even stronger. And we should have an even better season next year.
With the success of the season this year, I mean, you guys are going to have an above 500 record. You have 13 wins now in the season, and it's earned you a spot to host a home playoff game now. So talk to me a little bit about the energy you've gotten from crowds at this season and what it means that you guys are going to be hosting a tournament game now.
Last time we had a home tournament game was my freshman year, and we unfortunately lost. So hopefully this year we can have a lot of support at our game, and just hope to make it far in the tournament. You know, winning at home first round is great. Having a home game as your first game is great too. You know, home court advantage, that's always great. And we just look to come out and win.
You know, you're not just a statistical leader of this team. You're also asked to be an emotional and a vocal leader. How have you kind of grown in your leadership qualities, and what has it been like this year to see yourself kind of be one of the players that everyone else kind of looks to for leadership on this program?
I'm always working in the off season, you know, shooting around, always building people up if they're down on themselves. And I knew I had to come into this role this year. You know, last year it was building up a little, but we had a lot of leadership last year. So this year I had to come in, help the people who needed help, you know, just be that leader that everyone needs and make sure everyone's doing what they should be, and just not really taking over, but just making sure everyone's playing their role correctly.
Coach Wilson, obviously not a stranger to the Austintown community. He's been in Fitch for quite some time, but his first year coaching the girls again and coaching you guys. Talk to me a little bit about the experience with Coach Wilson at the helm and what he's done to help really improve this team and get them to progress this season.
It was a big change, especially for like the juniors, to have a new coach, because we had an old coach for 2 years, and now for our last 2 years, we're going to have a new coach. And he's really just bought into our program and wants to help us get better and build the program up and get us an even better record and season than the previous seasons. And he's just been at practice pushing us and having us reach to the top that we could be at. And, you know, if we're not doing something right, like he tells us, he gets on us about it, but he's just helping.
Zeta, who have been some of your role models as you've gone through this basketball journey and you keep growing in your career as a player and as a student at Fitch?
One of my biggest role models is probably my papa. You know, he's always giving me things to do. Ever since I was little, I've always had a ball in my hand. He's always taught me things to do. After games, he's always telling me things I could have done or should have done. And he's always there. You know, he's just like that person that I could go to if I need help with basketball or something, and he'll take me to a court and he'll show me things to do.
Did he assist in your love of first getting the love of basketball too? Or when did this love of basketball start, and when did you first start finding yourself invested in the sport?
I started in third grade. You know, I started doing camps in third grade, and then in fourth grade I started travel and played travel all throughout until middle school started. And just ever since third grade, you know, I I've just always had a love for it, and I've always wanted to grow in it and look to play in college. And I'm so glad that I'm at the point that I'm looking to play in college.
With the way you play, it's really easy to forget that you're a student athlete. You're not just a basketball player, but you put your work in school as well. What are some of your favorite subjects that you've taken or are taking at Fitch, and what are some things that you really like to learn and grow in from the student aspect?
I really don't have a favorite class. I do like taking like history classes. I just like learning about that type of stuff in like science classes. And, in college, I'm looking into going into like something along the lines of like sports medicine, physical therapy. So I need that science. And it's just, as an athlete, like I have to focus on school too. I can't just worry about basketball. And obviously like student athlete, like student comes before athlete. So I just have to make sure my grades are up and just get good grades.
A lot of the Lady Falcons do that. I see they post that too on the social media as well a lot. Zeta, also just looking at this season as a whole too. I mean, you guys have been through the down years, you've been through the up years now, and this is a team that I think has generated a lot of excitement, and there's a lot of new names that have stepped up this year, as you previously mentioned. Just talk to me a little bit about what it's been like growing with this team chemistry wise, because I know with like the AAU you talk about playing with Ayla Ray a lot too, and then girls like Destiny McCullough, Kara Perone have really stepped up, and I mean anybody on that team it seems like can go off for double-digit scoring nights.
The chemistry that we've all built together this year is amazing. We've all came together. We're all such good friends, and having those good friendships while you're playing just makes it even better because you want to be together. You want to give them the open look, you enjoy playing with them. And that's what makes it great because you don't want to play with people you don't want to play with. You want to be out there with your friends. And like with Ayla, like she played a lot of RC last year. And from last year to this year, me and her have really grown together on how to play together and how to look for each other in certain scenarios.
Zeta, before we let you go, we love to give the players a chance to kind of thank their support system, the people that are there for them every game, every high and low of their basketball or athletics journey. So I want to give you the chance to kind of shout out your support system and the people that are always there for you.
Especially a big thank you to my parents. They're always taking me places, always having me involved in AAU basketball showcases, camps, all kinds of certain things. And without them, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. They're always pushing me, always telling me to get better. And also my grandparents, both sets, my grandparents, mommy and dad's side, they've always, ever since I was little, been there for me and pushing me to get better and just always at the games. They never miss one. So, yeah.
Final question I have for you, Zeta. We talked about when your first love for basketball started. We had some of those memories, but now let's just go back on one of your favorite one. Just doesn't have to be the most favorite. Just give me one of your favorite basketball memories that comes to mind.
Well, I have two. One of them is definitely breaking the three-point record last year, in the game. Everyone was so hyped. It was just such an exciting moment. And then another really good, fun moment and favorite moment is when we go to Huggins in the summer. That's where all the bonding starts. And we're all together for 3-4 days, having fun, playing basketball, staying up. It just bonds us all together, and we just have really fun there.
Zeta, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today through your busy day. We appreciate the time. We love talking to you. You're on Running Point every day because you're always getting the post-game interviews, and we look forward to hearing you again real soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Zeta Creaky, Austintown Fitch basketball. Like you said, Anthony, she gets player of the game quite a lot over there with Fitch too, always dropping big points, and only a junior of that very young Fitch team, and a lot of things to be excited about, I think, over there in Austintown.
I don't think it would be wild to say that she's going to get you 1,000 points.
She's on pace, yeah. I don't think it's an out there statement. I don't think it's an outlandish statement. And there's that's not a huge list out there at Fitch too. I think it's right around 10 if I'm not mistaken. So it's a very limited list.
Big tie. 10 is pretty big. Not a lot of teams have 10,000 point scores.
But I mean,
I don't know what planet you're living on.
considering the length that the program's been around, though, I mean, it's one of the older programs too. It's been around for quite some time.
It is. Sabria was probably the last one, right, for 1,000.
Yeah, Sabria actually holds the all-time record, which is incredible to think that in the last few years, I think I've said this too, that Sabria Hunter and Todd Simons both hold the individual records for most points all time at Fitch. And they
Sabria
both
was something to watch. Like, I know
She was.
we're getting nostalgic, but
I didn't get a chance to call her with YSN, but I called her when I was with Austin Town
Right.
Schools. And
there are so many athletes from our schools that, like, I wish we could go back and call a game from.
Oh
That
man,
have gone through the programs, you know, like Kelsey Boker from Crestview and Melinda Trimmer from West Branch and Sabria from Fitch. I mean, there have been so many great athletes in the last decade that have come through these programs.
I mean, think about all those teams and all those athletes. That would have been so much fun to see. But that's why, I mean, we're glad we do what we do now. Because
Now, 10 years from now, we won't have to look back and say, "Oh, I wish I got to call Zeta Creek here. I wish I got to cover, Izzy Lamparty."
it's a time box, man.
Whatever,
I mean,
Jackie
it's a
Risdale,
time
et cetera, et
capsule. You open it up and you have all these games, all these calls, and all these memories that are encased in essentially forever too, and the YSN portal. So I mean, what we're doing here, man. That's why we're here. That's why we do what we do.
So we just heard from Zeta Creek. They won last night by 10. DJ got the chance to talk with Jeff Wilson. I want to hear what he had to say before we move on in this show. So let's go to the post-game interview with Coach Wilson after Fitch's 10-point win over Boardman.
All right, Coach Wilson, a big win here on the road. Talk to me about the learning experience that you had tonight right before your ass.
Yeah, DJ, it was a great learning experience, taking a good lead, them coming back, building the lead back up and then closing out. It's great for these kids, just really one full-time returning starter this year in Zeta and, young teams growing up a lot.
Zeta caught fire in the first half. Second half, had to battle through some adversity. What did you tell her when she was, on the bench during timeouts?
I said, your shot will come. Your shots will come. There were a couple of shots you took that were kind of deep. And I said, hey, get to the rim a couple times. And she did that. And she's smart. She has a good IQ and attacks well and gets to the rim. So, I don't really have to say much to her. I say it once and she buys into it. And she's a great student of the game and very coachable.
You and I talked about this team when you first got the job. This was a challenge, and a challenge accepted. 13 wins now in the season. Talk to me about what you've learned along the way.
Well, I've learned to be patient with a young group. I've learned that, just take it one day at a time, one game at a time, really one quarter at a time. We're notorious for having a great quarter and then a not so good quarter. And then, trying to piece four quarters together. I think pretty much tonight we pieced four quarters together and held our own. We never let them come and take the lead. So pretty much a good game all the way through.
Does this game get you ready for a tournament time?
Yeah, close on the road, close it out, make some free throws. I said we got Copley on Wednesday to prepare us for that. That's a great preparation game for the tournament. And then McKinley, two very different styles, but two teams that we need to be ready for that are a really good D2 team and then a good Federal League D1.
So that was Coach Wilson of the Fitch girls basketball program talking after their win over Boardman last night. And like you said, it was a win that they kind of rode that roller coaster a little bit. They were way up. Boardman came back, and they got back up, and they hit some free throws down the stretch to win that game.
These are going to be two of the teams that future AAC teams, you watch out. Watch out, because, I mean, the Boardman and Fitch got two young rosters. And for the next 2 years, they're going to be very dangerous too. Who knows what Howland and Campfield are going to bring up as far as the young girls? They're always good basketball programs as well. And same thing with Harding. But I'm just saying Fitch and Boardman are going to be very good the next couple of years. And the other AAC teams always are great. It's going to be a fun conference.
This has the two top teams this year, Canfield and Howland, they both lose quite a bit.
A decent amount, yeah.
That are graduating. I mean, Alyssa Dill is gone from Canfield. Summer Samarone will be gone. You got Pompilio will be gone. McLean will be gone. A lot of names that are at the top of that AAC graduating. Taylor Lawrence is going to be out of Howland as well. They have 6 seniors on that Howland team.
They do have a Masucci though on that Howland
They
team.
have a Masucci, but like, it's going to change because next year she's going to be the girl that everyone circles and says, we can't let this person beat us. Right now it's Pompilio. Like, I think everyone goes into Howland saying we cannot let Alyssa Pompilio go off and score more than 15 points if we want to win this game. And that's what Canfield did. Poland held her under 15 too. Unfortunately for Poland, Howland's off.
Everyone else beat them. Yeah, everyone else was beating them the same amount too.
They got dealt the death with 1,000 cuts because no one really exploded. No one had a huge game, but they had 5 players in double figures.
Yeah, they just balanced. They just scored everywhere on the court.
Balance. Taylor Lawrence opened the game with back-to-back threes, and then Masucci was hitting 3. They hit 8 threes in the first half. I mean, if you're Coach Blanche, it's like, what do you do? You know,
they're making and knocking down long distance shots, man. It's hard too. It's hard to react to that. Sometimes you just you throw your hands up in the air and say, well, what do you do?
But, I mean, like I talked to him after the game, and he was just proud that his team never quit. I mean, they took between the end of the second quarter and the start of the third, Poland was on a 12-0 run. They cut what was once a 25-point lead into a 13-point lead. Just not nearly enough to keep Howland at bay. That's as close as they got in the second half.
Their offense was just clicking, firing on all cylinders, man, and they weren't going to be stopped that night. Everyone came in with motivation after that Canfield game, and they weren't losing 2 in a row.
So now we have to transition, Ty, because we have brackets to talk about. Division 1 and 2 of the boys tournament brackets, because the boys brackets were released this weekend. I want to dive into Division 1 first because we have really 2 brackets, not even as many Division 1 teams in boys as girls, because I don't believe Howland is a D. I think the Howland is D2 in boys.
Yeah, I believe so as well. I think so, at least.
I think it's Boardman Fitch in D1 for boys. I think Howland and Canfield are both D2, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll double check real quick.
I'm pulling up the brackets now, but when I got a chance to look at them, man, Division 1, like the girls, it's a gauntlet. It's going to be a gauntlet. We have good teams in here, but it's also just something that you're going to see these teams have to battle their way through an absolute monster of a bracket to get out of the districts.
Oh, no doubt. It is going to be a monster of a schedule that these teams are going to have to go through. But hey, I mean, Division 1 has always been like that. It's a meat grinder. It's not easy to get to state, and you got to have quite the team to be able to do so.
Yeah, I mean, these teams forget state. They just want to get to regionals.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I mean, getting there is a huge tip of the cap, considering just the level of competition you're going to have to face to get there.
You don't like how long these brackets are taking to load.
Oh, isn't it the best?
Really, really hurting my flow right now.
It's really hurting my flow. I'm just double checking all of them too to make sure we have just the 2. Yeah, it's just the 2.
So I was right.
Yeah, Warren Harding's the other AAC team that's in D1, but they're not under our coverage. But yeah, it's just Fitch and Boardman. Boardman has that first matchup with Alliance, though.
See, you got him before I even got him. Come on, what are we doing here?
Anthony's doesn't want to work right now.
You have him up, so I'll let you run the conversation. I would keep here. I would be waiting to load. So go over the Division 1 bracket, and I believe Boardman and Fitch are both in separate ones.
Yeah, Boardman's in the Northeast 3 Twinsburg bracket. In the sectional semis, it's Solon playing Akron North, and the winner of that will play Chagrin Falls Kenston. Maslin Jackson plays Hudson to play Maslin Perry. Hoban plays Cuyahoga Falls for the winner playing Hoover. And then for this one, it is Dover playing Fitch for the winner going to Aurora. And Dover obviously being the 6th seed, Austintown Fitch the 28th seed in that one. This one has the highest seed in this one is Solon, I think, at 3. Yeah, Solon is the 3 seed playing 37 Akron North in the sectional semi.
Watch out for Akron North.
Yeah.
But I think like that Fitch matchup, Dover versus Fitch, it's what 6 versus 28.
Yeah.
And when you look, I mean, but Fitch has proven that they're a very competitive team.
They've been competitive. Their record is not reflective on how
Just
competitive.
like the girls, it's going to be a class 1 through 5 that's just above everybody else. They're better, period. And then there's going to be that 6 through, I want to say maybe 28, where everyone's kind of competitive.
Yeah,
everyone has players that can take over games, and anybody can kind of beat anybody. You can't sleep on a 28 seed because Fitch has Alan Underwood, and Fitch has Devin Sherwood, and Fitch has players like that can just take over a game. A lot more widespread talent than we see in other divisions.
Yeah, no doubt. The one loss, Dover only has one loss on the season. It was all the way back on, let me get the date on this loss. It was back not too long ago, actually, I don't think. It was one of their games against New Philadelphia. It was actually, December 17th. They lost to New Philadelphia matchup later in the season, but they are 17-1 right now on the season. And this is one too where, Fitch is going to come into this one a bit of an underdog. But let me double check this real quick and see what they're averaging per game in Dover, because their offense is dynamic this season from what I remember checking on them. Yeah, over 1,000 points this season, 1,122, and divide that by 18 games. It's an offense averaging 62.3 a game. That's a lot of points too. Defensively too, they've allowed 766. I'm just trying to get their diff real quick.
Oh, that's a big diff. While you're looking, how insane is it that it's a 1-loss Dover team and they're the 6th seed in Division 1?
That's what I'm saying. It's absolutely a meat grinder. It's a meat grinder. And I mean, that's the thing though with Division 1. It's like anyone could technically come out of it too. Is the crazy part. It's just if someone catches fire, because all these teams are so close in what they bring and what they offer. And then 42.6. Yeah, they are beating teams by an average of 19.7 a game, or outscoring teams by about 20.
They're not in the top 5. It's
They're
crazy.
not in the top 5. No.
So that I think Fitch is going to be an underdog for sure. They deserve to, Dover deserves that nod as the favorite, but I think Fitch has the talent. I mean, I don't know.
They absolutely have the talent, and
I mean, a lot of really close games this year. That those wins would probably boost their seeding a little bit.
There was a lot of close games that Dover has played in too. It's just the games that they blow teams out, they beat them by a lot too. So you got to kind of read between the lines sometimes.
They're really beating them.
Yeah, you got to read between the lines with the scores too. But Fitch, I mean, record-wise, 5-12 coming into this one, but the games that they've lost, there's been multiple games have been lost by 4 points or less. 4-point loss to Louisville, 4-point loss to Massillon, Washington, 1-point loss to McDowell, 7 to Hal, and 4 to Copley. I mean, there's a lot of great teams they faced in here. 4 again to Boardman. I mean, and these teams are ranked pretty decently too in Division 1. And I mean, just having these kind of competition that you faced all season, I think it's going to help the Falcons. Let me go through their numbers real quick. And they've played 17 games. They've scored 842. What's really been impressive though is their defense. They're averaging about 49.5 per game. Allowed 932 divided by 17. Yeah, and then 54 points. Looking at the diff overall between this, they're allowing roughly about 4.5 points more than their opponents per game. But that's a defense too. They play pretty even, and I mean that's kind of why you see with the scores though. And here's the thing with the Falcons, and if I could pull up this, I think I had this stat on them and what they do per quarter. And it's a team that's just struggled finishing games this season in the fourth quarter, but they always get off to hot starts. And if I can get if I can find their defensive stats from first half to second half, their first half defensive stats are always I think they've had leads in almost every single game going into halftime that they've been in this season.
I finally got these brackets to load.
Enough stalling time to finally get
it was on the struggle bus. The 1 seed in Division 1 is Brush, 2 is Green, 3 is Solon, 4 is Walsh, Jesuit, 5 Hoover, 6 Dover, as we've been saying. Uniontown Lake gets 7, Jackson gets 8, Mentor is 9, Mayfield 10, Canton McKinley 11, Hoban 12, Alliance 13, Euclid 14, Harding 15, Boardman 16, Kenston 17. We have Stone Monroe Falls as 18, Nordonia as 19, Glen Oak as 20, Massillon, Washington 21, Roosevelt 22, Madison 23. Then you have Riverside 24, Aurora 25, Ellett 26, Willoughby South 27, Fitch 28, Kenmore Garfield 29. You have the University School at 30, East Lake North at 31, Cuyahoga Falls at 32, Hudson at 33, Harvey at 34, Lakeside at 35, Massillon Perry at 36, and then Akron North at 37.
Big division.
Big division.
I mean, there's a lot of teams.
Only one team without a win, and that was Massillon Perry. You look at the Alliance. Is that what district you're in right now? The Alliance district, or are you in the other one? No, you're in the other one because Green is up here in the Alliance.
One other thing I want to just note with Fitch too, that's going to make it tough for them. They take care of the ball well too. There's about 40 turnovers under the national average, which was I think 232 or close to 40.
You're at the national average? Jeez.
Yeah, they have the national average on there too. To give them props and something too. I mean, the Falcons do play good basketball and they usually play clean. So.
And now we go from that bracket to the one that Boardman is in, which is the Euclid bracket. And very interesting that Alliance did not go into their host bracket because Alliance is hosting a district.
Yeah.
And they are they're the 13th seed. So you think that'd be high enough for them to choose their own bracket, but they did not. They went into the Euclid bracket and they line up with Boardman in the first round. This is a very intriguing matchup, one that's a lot more close as far as seeding goes. And I imagine close as overall statistics and when you compare these two teams.
Yeah, Boardman's 10-6 right now. Alliance is 13-3. To look at Alliance's real quick, their numbers in 16 games, they've scored 958 as far as points. That's good for 59.9, so just under 60 points per game. And then they have allowed 821, meaning they allow an average of 51.3, and then minus that from 59.9. Yeah, plus 8.6 that they're beating teams by, which is a pretty solid number, especially in Division 1. It's a good solid team. I just want to roll through Alliance's schedule before we go through Boardman's.
Their schedule is a big chunk D2 because remember that EBC Alliance is the only Division 1 team in that conference. So, everyone else that they've played in the conference is Division 2.
They've played out of conference and beaten Louisville and Waterloo.
That's a Division 3 team.
They've lost to Louisville's the St. Thomas Aquinas by 8.
It's down in Division 4, I think.
They've lost to Carrollton.
I feel like these schedules are going to hurt them because they're playing D3, D4 teams and they're D1.
And they lost to Marlington by 5 early.
2. So
Boardman
plays a lot of D1 schools.
Boardman has scored in 16 games, 799. That's good for a 49.9 point average. So about 10 points less per game than Alliance offensively, but defensively 725 per game. Divide that by 16. They're allowing about 6 points less than Louisville. I don't know why I keep saying Louisville now. 6 points less than Alliance per game defensively at 45.3. So they're still outscoring teams. Boardman is by about 6 points per game. Exactly 6 points, actually, to be exact. So defensively, Boardman is better, and we've seen them hold some really good offenses under 30 points.
Pull them to 26. Cheney, that second game was under 40.
Common opponents that both Boardman and Alliance had was Louisville, and Louisville did beat Boardman 67-59. Looking at that stretch, Boardman really had just one bad stretch early on in the season.
And it was that thing. We're missing about 3 players too.
Yeah. They lost to Cheney in that tournament, that Poland tournament game. I can't, the name slipping me.
Classic.
Yeah, that one. They lost to Uniontown Lake. They lost to Louisville. They lost to North Canton Hoover. All great teams, by the way. They lost to Poland as well by 2 points, 28-2.
Lake is Division I. Hoover is Division I.
Yeah, and their only other loss, though, since their last loss against Poland, they won against Hallen on January 4th and have only lost one game in that stretch since January 4th, and that was to Harding, 56-47.
It's also Division I. I mean, you get the trend here. Boardman's playing a much tougher schedule than Alliance, in my opinion.
They play Mooney tonight, which is a tough team too. Not Division I, but still a tough team. They still got to play Glen Oak. They still got to play Massillon, and they still have Harding and Canfield in conference on their schedule.
Mooney's a caveat because they're not a Division I team, but they play a Division I schedule. So
yeah, and then Massillon Washington's never a pushover in boys basketball, and then Glen Oak's a good team year in and year out too. So I mean, it's going to be good competition for Boardman. The biggest thing is Boardman's defense is better than Alliance's. Alliance has scored a little bit more offensively, but like you said, Alliance playing a little bit more down division teams, so offense numbers are going to be up a little bit.
Look, Alliance is very good. I'm not taking anything away from them. They've had some big wins this year. They've beaten West Branch twice in 2 back-to-back games against West Branch with nothing in between. They beat the Warriors twice. That's hard to do, to beat a team literally 2 times in a row. And they were able to do that. They have a lot of athletes. Just simply pointing out that Boardman's schedule is a little bit better. They might be a little bit more prepared for this kind of tournament atmosphere. But this game will be in Alliance. It'll be in the Aviators hangar. That'll be February 23rd at 7:00. And let's go over the path to a district championship for Boardman. If they beat Alliance, Massillon, Washington, the 21 seed is awaiting. So you would assume that if Boardman wins, actually not assume, if Boardman wins, they get a home game because Washington's the 21 seed, Boardman would be the 16. So Boardman would get a home game if they win. That would be for the sectional title. Brush is the other team in that half of the bracket. So if Chalk plays out, Brush would win that, and that would be your district semifinal, Boardman to Brush, if Boardman was able to beat Massillon, Washington. So they do have the 1 seed in their half.
And they play Massillon, Washington here coming up in the regular season.
Right.
So, I mean, it's going to be interesting. And also just to point out, too, the losses that Boardman has, North Canton Hoover is a 14-4 team. They're second in the Federal League. That's a pretty good league up there.
Second in the Federal League, and they are, in this district, they are seeded 5th.
And Uniontown Lake, not a pushover too. They're 5th in the Federal League, and they're 11-6.
7th in the district.
So I mean, these are good basketball teams. Boardman was playing. I think Boardman. I have to give it to Boardman. I know the EBC is a great conference, but because Boardman only plays in the AAC, they're only held to 8 games, and all those teams.
They have 2 AAC teams that are also Division I.
Yeah, and though that helps too. And playing some solid teams in Hallen and Canfield too help as well. So their out of conference schedule was nuts this year too. So Boardman had some tough competition.
They always do because they know they're playing in a Division I that's ridiculously good. So that'll do it for Division I. We only have 2 teams, Boardman and Fitch. Harding is in there too. They're a local team, but not a YSN team, of course. So we'll go to Division II. first, break down the seeding two in boys basketball. One seed, Louisville, the 2, West Branch, the 3. We have Maslin Perry. No, sorry, Maslin Perry is in D1. We have Perry Pirates as the 4 seed. Marlington is the 5. Struthers the 6. Poland the 7. Ursuline the 8. Edgewood the 9. Streetsboro the 10. Chardon the 11. Howland the 12. Chagrin Falls 13. Girard 14. That's a dangerous 14 seed with Cardero and his crew over there doing their work. Canfield gets the 15 seed, excuse me. Canton South the 16. Salem the 17. Geneva the 18. Lakeview the 19. Ravenna 20. West Geauga 21. NDCL 22. Niles 23. Hubbard 24. Sorry. Field 25. And East is 26.
Anthony had to choke on his words because he doubted Hubbard that game against Poland last time in football and had to wear a jersey.
But, they got smoked against South Branch. No one in this district is without a win, which is impressive. Even the bottom seeds have at least one.
Yeah, and I mean, do you want to start in the Youngstown district just because it's northeast to the one at Boardman?
Yeah, let's go to that. Let's go to Division 2, and we'll go to the Boardman district, and I'll go from the top. The top seed in this district will be Perry. They are the 4 seed. They have the bye. They will await the winner of Chardon, the 11 seed, versus West Geauga, the 21. You go to the next line in the bracket. It'll be Poland Seminary against Lakeview. That's going to be an 8 matchup. The girls have the exact same matchups. So that's
exciting
as well.
Bulldog battle. That's what we're looking at in first games.
That is 7 versus 19. That game will be on February 23rd at 7 o'clock in Poland. They will play the winner of Streetsboro versus Salem. That is a 10 seed Streetsboro versus a 17 seed Salem. That'll also be on the 22nd at 7. We move on to the bottom half of the bracket, and it will be Chagrin Falls getting the bye as they are the 13 seed. They will await the winner of Geneva, the 18, versus Edgewood, the 9. That game will be happening in Edgewood on the 22nd at 7. And the bottom half, the bottom line of the bracket, East gets the bye with a 26 seed. And then you have Mogador Field versus Cheney. Those 2 teams will play each other for the chance to go to East. Cheney, the 1 seed, they are in this bracket. So they are actually the top seed. But then everyone out 2 and 3 both went into their own. And the 4 seed Perry went after Cheney. So
everybody avoid
1-4. And then
Perry, everyone except Perry avoiding Cheney right now. And I mean, kind of had to. They kind of
1-4. And the next highest seed, I believe, is Poland at 7. And then you have Streetsboro at 10. I thought I saw the 9. I thought I saw the 9 seed in this bracket. Yeah.
Which one are you looking at?
Edgewood is the 9 seed. So you have 1, 4, 7, 10, 1, 4, 7, 9, 10 in this bracket as the top, the top seeds.
I don't know if we need to spend a whole lot of time on Cheney versus Mogador Field. I think Cheney just comes into this one with a huge advantage.
Are you disrespecting Field? The 27?
25, yeah.
25. I was so close.
But I mean, we could look at them real quick too.
Let's look. But the one I do want to look at in this one,
you got to look at Poland and Lakeview. I think
Poland Lakeview round 2. I think everything else is going to be pretty much chalk in this bracket.
You got Salem Streetsboro, yeah.
That's 10 versus 17. Salem though.
Salem's been surprising some teams though.
Last week they beat Marlington and they beat
West Branch.
So
I mean, Salem might shock some people going into this one.
Okay, Ty, am I missing something, or is Marlington not in this seating? Are they not Division 2? Oh no, I skipped them. They're 5. I don't remember reading them at all. So I was sitting there.
Yeah, I thought Marlington was there.
As soon as you said Marlington, I was like, wait a minute, where are they? And no, they're seated as 5. So Salem with wins over the 5 seed and the West Branch is the 3. So 5 and 3 seeded teams in the district. I think 10 is not going to intimidate it.
No, I don't think so as well. Yeah, just real quickly skimming over both Field and Cheney. Field 3 and 14, they're 7th in that Metro League. 792 in their 17 games. That is good enough to average 46.6 per, which isn't a bad average. They've allowed 985 though in those 17, allowing about 47.9 or 57.9, excuse me, which is calculated pretty differential of about almost 10 points per game. Looking at Cheney too, they are, I believe, would we say 13-7 now on the season, 12-7 on the season. Scored 1,151 points on the season, and that is in a monster schedule that they have played. In those 19 games, it's good enough for about 16 and a half.
This has them as 13-7, by the way, as their seed.
13-7. Okay. Yeah, so there might be another game. I thought they were 13-7.
Talk about that. I mean, 13-7, the respect they're given as the 1 seed. Everyone kind of knows. Everyone understands.
And I mean, I feel like you have to. They're a team that, looking at what they've done, they've scored 1,151 against some of the best Division II teams
and some Division I teams in there too. I mean, they've played Boardman twice.
Yeah, they've played Boardman twice.
Medina, I believe, is Division I.
And let me double check. Yeah, they're beating teams by an average of about 7 points per, and that is with, like you said, Ant, Division I teams. I mean, they played St. Vincent, St. Mary this year. That wasn't Division I, but I think they're 1 and D2. They've played Fitch, they've played Boardman, they've played Harding, they played everyone in the AAC. They've played Medina. They play a good Mooney team and a good Ursuline team in their conference this year. They played Kennedy Catholic out in Hermitage. They played Camel, which is a D3, but a very good D3 team this year too. So, I mean, this schedule, and then they still have Cuyahoga Valley Christian Academy and Hoover and Poland on their list before.
And CVCA will be in the region. So it might be a team that they see later on in the tournament. They're Division II, a very strong Division II team.
They beat a good Menor team too this season, a very good 11-6 Menor team. They beat 3 Cardinals in a row with Cardinal, Mooney, Menor, and Canfield this season. They were Cardinal slayers. The Cowboys had the 6 shooters out, and they were bang, bang, bang.
And then, of course, Poland, the 7 seed that they're going to play here in a little bit too. So that's impressive.
Good
we're raining time. So let's go to the next bracket, which will be the Lakeside bracket, I believe, is the one that the rest of our teams will be in. And the top of that one has Louisville as the 2 seed. They will play the winner of Ravenna versus Canfield. That is going to be 15 versus 20. Canfield being the 15, Ravenna being the 20. That game will be in Canfield on February 22nd at 7 o'clock. The next line of the bracket is the 14-seeded Girard playing Canton South, the 16 seed.
They'll get a home game.
What?
Girard will get a home game.
Yeah, Girard does get the home game winner. That will play the winner of Niles against West Branch. That is 3-seeded Niles versus 23-seeded other way around. 3-seeded West Branch versus 23rd-seeded Niles.
They gave Niles some respect.
That game will be on the 22nd at 7. The bottom half of the bracket has Marlington as a bye with a 5 seed. They will play the winner of Hubbard against Ursuline. That is 8-seeded Ursuline versus 24th seeded Hubbard. Ursuline goes to play Marlington. And then you will have Howland getting the bye as the 12th seed, and they will play the winner of Notre Dame Cathedral Latin and Struthers. That is 6-seeded Struthers against 22nd seeded Notre Dame Cathedral Latin, which you can never count out because, of course, they play a brutal schedule just like most of the other parochial schools in the bracket. So that's how that bracket lines up. You got Marlington, the 5, getting a bye. You have Louisville, the 2, getting a bye. So it's 2, 5, 3, and I believe the 4 seed in here too.
Howland also getting a bye.
Yeah, Howland gets a bye as a 12. So Howland not guaranteed a home game.
Struthers wins.
They would be hoping that NDCL gets the win to give them a home game. Otherwise, Struthers will take them to the field house. Ursuline gets a home game against Hubbard,
and then
they'll go
would
to Marlington if they get the win.
Regardless of who wins, they go to Marlington there. Yep.
Let's see. West Branch would host either winner of the top game. So whether or not Girard or Canton South wins.
Unless Niles wins, then the winner of the top
If
game
the third seed of Niles, 23rd seed.
If Niles
pull off the upset,
the world, this chaos can ensue in tournaments.
I think the most interesting game in this bracket is Canfield Ravenna, 15 versus 12.
That's going to be a great game. And then the winner of that playing Louisville, with Louisville already playing Canfield, they might have even played Ravenna this season too. This is that's going to be a great game. That's going to be a great one. And seeing the winner play Louisville, that's going to be tough for Louisville to beat either team too as well. So Division 2 is just as fun.
Those are how the Division 2 brackets line up. Tomorrow we'll go over 3 and 4. I don't know why I said 3 and 5. There's no Division 5. Tomorrow we'll go over Divisions 3 and 4. But Ty, with 15 minutes to spare, it is time for our picks like we do every day. If you want to pick along with us, you can head over to Twitter. The handle is @RunningPointYSN, and you can find the picks thread there and pick along with us today. Ty, you won the night, and it is your chance to defer or take it. The first pick is your game. Liberty going to Camel, and Camel has 67% of the fan vote. So are you deferring or are you taking?
I will defer to see where you go with this.
I was hoping you wouldn't do that. I was hoping you'd just take it because it's your thing. I know who you're gonna pick. I just know it, and I need to gain ground. I'm down by 13. I got to get aggressive. I'm gonna take Liberty.
I'll go Rockin' Red Devils.
Yeah, I knew you would. The Liberty lost to them by 3 in the first round, so hopefully they can make up 3 points. Go Leopards.
You never know. Good team over there in Liberty. Good team.
James Davis has to have a great game for the Leopards if they are going to win. South Range goes to Struthers. The Raiders down in the poll 91% to 9, but the last time these two teams played, 4 points separated the two. So maybe a little bit more competitive than the poll says. South Range has been up and down this year for sure. They're coming off a win over Hubbard on Saturday. Ty, it's your first pick.
Yeah, I like what South Range has been doing towards the tail end of the season. I just still think Struthers is a more complete team, and there's still top teams in this NE8. I got to go with Struthers.
Yeah, I don't think South Range is going to sneak up on Struthers this time around. I think Struthers gets to win tonight in the field house, and I'll go with you and the fans. We go on to Louisville versus Middle Ridge. Middle Ridge, they've had some big wins this year, but overall they are definitely struggling. Louisville on the other end of the spectrum, they are not struggling one bit. They have the 82% to 18% edge. I'll pick Louisville.
Yeah, I'll go with Louisville as well with the number 8 seeded, I believe. Number 8 ranked, rather, Rockets.
Your pick next, it is Kenmore Garfield going to West Branch, a non-conference game for the Warriors, and the Warriors have 89% of the fan vote.
Yeah, give me West Branch as well. I think they've looked really good at to certain points this season. They slipped up a little bit with conference games, but I think they're figuring it out again.
I'm not rocking against the banner. I'll take West Branch as well. We move on to the next one. This is my first pick. LeBray traveling the champion, and the Vikings have all 100% of the fan vote right now with 6 votes in the poll. I'll take LeBray.
Yeah, I got to rock with the Vikings as well. They've looked really good here in the second half.
Your first pick for this one, Columbiana traveling to East Palestine. Columbiana now, doors wide open in the EOAC. All them, Louisville, them, Wellsville, and Valley Christian, all with 3 losses in the league. So Columbiana has a lot to play for. They go to East Palestine tonight. It's your first pick.
Do your bit. I'm Clipper clapping with you.
All right, I'll take the Columbiana Clippers as well. Next, we have a big one because both teams have 3 losses in the EOAC. Wellsville will go to Valley Christian. Valley Christian has 87% of the fan vote, even though Wellsville beat them earlier this year.
I think Wellsville's won 3 in a row, I think, now against Valley. I could be wrong. I know they beat them, I think, twice last year. And then the first time this year. This is going to be tough because Wellsville's got a great team.
I get the tough one, of course.
Yeah. Wellsville's
I'll
got
take
a
Wellsville.
but Valley's got if John Trell Mixon and Batista are active, those two when they're getting it, they're eating on in the inside. They're tough to beat, man.
I'll take Wellsville.
You're going Wellsville. I'm up by 13. I'll avoid. I can afford this one. I'll go Valley Christian on this one. I something's telling me fly with the Eagles tonight. I'm going Valley.
McDonald will go to Sebring tonight, and they have 75% of the fan vote. Ty, this is your first pick. Who you got?
I'll rock with the Blue Devils on this one.
Coach Francistelli would definitely approve. You've picked against him the last couple times. And
Last couple of times, yeah. No hard.
A little bit betrayed.
I picked for him a lot more than I picked against him, so no hard feelings, Coach.
I'll pick McDonald as well to get the win. Waterloo travels to Springfield tonight. The Tigers have 78% of the fan vote. It is my first pick. I'll take the Tigers.
Yeah, let me get Springfield in this one as well.
Your first pick this time is Warren Harding travels to Canfield. The Raiders have 89% of the fan vote. Ty, who you got in this big one in the AAC?
It's a big one in the AAC. I just feel like Harding and Boardman have been two teams that have turned it up since the second half. I got to go with the Raiders in this one.
You know what? I'll rock the banner. I'll be the good guy.
You'll go Canfield in this one?
Give me Canfield. Get the win. This one is an OVAC semifinal in East Liverpool as Beaver Local comes to town. Another matchup between the two big rivals. Right now, East Liverpool has 67% of the fan vote, and it is my first pick. I'll take the Potters.
Yeah, I'll rock with the Potters as well. I think they're just having a little bit too much with all the seniors on that one.
You get this one, and it's one of the closest polls we've seen today. Fitch going to Howland, and the Tigers have 56% of the vote.
It's at Howland, too, which is really tough. I'll fly with the Falcons, though. Give me Fitch.
I'll go with Howland. I'll split with you.
That's a good split. You've split 4 now with me, so you could get your 4 back.
I'm gonna get 4 right back. This one actually I think is sneaky competitive because both these teams have been up and down this year. You don't really know which team's going to show up. If both good teams show up, then it could be really good. If one team doesn't show up and one team doesn't, it could be a blowout. Who really knows? Brookfield going to Newton Falls. Brookfield with a 70-43 win over Maplewood over the weekend. They look good then. Can they look good now? On the road, I'll still take the Falls. I'll take the Falls at home.
You know what? I'm surprised. I thought you were going to go Brookfield because I thought we'd get another split. I'm taking the Falls as well. Give me Newton Falls at home.
Niles travels to Girard. The Indians have 86% of the fan vote. Your first pick.
Yeah, I'll rock with Girard in this one.
I'll go with Girard as well. As we have Jefferson traveling to Hubbard. The Falcons have 63% of the fan vote. They had the big win over Struthers over the weekend on Saturday at home. Now they travel back to Hubbard.
It's a big conference win for Jefferson, and I'm going to still fly with the Falcons in this matchup. Give me Jefferson.
I'll go with Jefferson as well. My first pick this time, Lisbon going to United. Lisbon has 75% of the fan vote. They've been up and down this year. Wins over Wellsville, but then they inexplicably lose to Latonia. Don't really know which Lisbon's going to show up, but I'll rock with the Blue Devils, and I'll pick them to win.
I don't know what Lisbon's going to show up either, but I will rock with the Blue Devils as well. They've impressed me after that second Wellsville win.
This poll split 50-50. It's your first pick. Bristol goes to Badger.
Ooh, tough one, too. Bristol's a good team. Badgers had a solid squad. Give me Badger.
I'll take Badger as well, rocking the banner. Lakeview goes to Poland. This is going to be the first round matchup. They get to see each other now again. Lakeview coming off the win over the weekend. So is Poland. They're both coming off of winning 8 wins. Poland has 90% of the fan vote. I'll take Poland at home.
Yeah, Poland at home is a different animal. Give me the Bulldogs. That Bulldog team.
Be more specific. Jackson Milton versus Western Reserve in Berlin Center. This one's for the trophy. I get all the tough ones today. I got this feeling Jackson Milton's coming in with a vengeance tonight. This might bite me, but I'm going to go with the underdog and take Jackson Milton.
Don't Coach Procopio. I was thinking of that, but I can't have us both pick the same with this
It's a
rivalry.
trophy game. Like, it's a trophy game.
It's a 2 deep. I gotta go Western Reserve and go with my man Coach Sarinsky there too. I love both these coaches too. I love Coach Sarinsky and I love Coach Procopio, both doing great things with their programs.
Jackson Milton got the win in this trophy game last year. Trophy goes to the winner of the second game, regardless of what happens in the first game. It's just second matchup between these two schools is a trophy game every year. Mooney travels to Boardman right now, even though the Cardinals lost to Boardman earlier in the season. They have 64% of the fan vote. It is your first pick, Ty.
Give me Boardman. Give me Boardman.
Give me Hergenrother and the Cardinals.
You're going that. You're going Cards. It's a great matchup. That's a great matchup.
Ursuline travels to East. The Irish have 82% of the fan vote, Ty. It is my first pick. I'm going to take the Irish.
I'll take the Irish as well.
And then last but not least, of course, Garfield traveling to Crestview. The G-men have 67% of the fan vote.
Crestview is always tough to beat at home, but I think Garfield's 11-9. They've been a pretty solid team. They're very athletic. Give me Garfield.
Give me the G-men. I'll take the Garfield G-men as well to get the win tonight, and that will do it for our picks for the day.
I think we split on 6.
What?
I think we split on 6.
We did. We split on 6, which I hope you wrote them down because I forgot.
I'll remember them too, or I could just watch the last couple minutes to get them.
We want to give a congratulations real quick to the Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley winners this week. On the wrestling match, it was Dorian Jackson from Beaver Local getting the win. Anthony Lucente wins in boys basketball for Louisville, and then Face Stellato with the stiletto. The dagger gets the win for Struthers. And we'll hope to talk to all those players at some point at Running Point this week. We'll try to get them on as we do with every Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley winner. Congratulations to them. Tomorrow we'll do our Price is Right challenge with the new nominees, and we'll have Gary Wrestling Wednesdays with Gary as well as recaps from tonight, picks for tomorrow, and a bunch of other fun stuff. We'll also dive into Division 3 and 4 of the boys brackets as well.
Yep, get your voting up, big dogs. They're getting it on down by the Mahoning River.
On that note, we're going to take a 22-hour break, and we will be back tomorrow. Casual Sports Podcast coming up from 2 to 3, Power Hour 3 to 4. Lots of basketball tonight for your enjoyment. What the heck was that? I just totally mixed entertainment with enjoyment. Whichever one you want, take it, and we'll see you tomorrow.